Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you, as you can see with the lights behind us, the skyscrapers glinting brightly as the bright nominations of India's International Emmys are announced. Be thus, you've been twice nominated, no stranger to this. Shefali Shah, your show has been a winner for International Emmys and you are nominated this year round. And Monika Shergill, who is making this magical talent of absolute Indian pathbreakers come onto this international stage in this global scenario. Thank you for joining me. Let me start with that question. First, how do you feel? How does it feel to be in New York?
It is, it's a blessing to be here. You know, if nothing else, just to know that there is a world that is willing to listen to your Indian story. You know, to be able to share an Indian story with the world, I think is a blessing. And I'm enjoying it for watching multiple filmmakers and creators that I admire. You know, like I've watched 17 things that I never planned on watching because I've been here at these awards. So I'm just happy to be here, you know.
Okay. Shefali, tell me about what the process is. What have you been doing in this run-up?
I've really enjoyed this entire process. We are all together, like he said, meeting this amazing talent, just amazing talent. And it's so strange, like at the first night, the gala cocktail that was there, nobody, like we didn't know anyone, they didn't know us, but it was just like, oh, we haven't met for a very long time, so, you know, I'm nominated, you're nominated, congratulations. It's great. I think it is just coming together of artistic people. And the panel today was great. I think, and then whatever the rest of the time, we're all going out for dinners together, etc. I've been loving it. Tomorrow we'll see.
Okay, fingers crossed. This is going to be a special one. But Monika, just talking about that, what Veer and Shefali said, this demarcation between what is Indian and global talent seems to have blurred now.
Yeah, I think it's so phenomenal, you know. It's like, as you say, doctors without borders. This is entertainment without borders. And I really feel that, you know, just being able to bring so many creative people together, first on your service and then to take them all over the world with their stories, their original voices. I think it's just truly incredible. I mean, I feel, you know, blessed to be in this moment. And yes, there's a little bit of flutter about tomorrow. And but I think the fact that we are here, and for Netflix India, it is the 7th time and one win for Delhi Crime. And now, you know, Shefali's nomination, Veer's second nomination. I think it's really, really special. And we've had an Oscar this year for Elephant Whisperers. We've had an award at Busan for Scoop. So just finishing the year with the International Emmys would be super special if it happens.
And just on that, you know, a lot of people say this is validation of Indian talent on a global stage, but you both are validation for millions of Indians or even just anyone watching, consuming your magic on screen or in theaters. So how do you feel about that? Because there are layers of this. Somebody who is validated by so many is bringing even more validation.
I mean, it's a very flattering question, so I thank you. I'm a boy from DPS Noida, you know, so the idea that there would be a poster of you in another country, or the idea that somebody from another country would watch your stuff, or the idea that this is now possible for Indian comedians to tour the entire world is not something I ever imagined but dreamt of. So this is very much unbelievable in that sense. I'm kind of in the truest way a Netflix success story. You know, my first ever special was with them and I'd never toured internationally before them. And so my first special came out and instantly I was doing 19 countries. And I was able to find an audience in those 19 countries. I never saw any of this coming. So I think it's just, like I said, it's unexpected.
And now you're touring 33 countries.
I'm touring 33 countries.
More than 35 cities in India. So it's really bringing onto a different elevation of the pitch. Shefali, just talk a little bit about your experience, because all three of you are disruptors in your genre, and you, from what a brilliant career graph, from Satya to Monsoon Wedding to Darlings to Delhi Crime, and I mean there are so many in between. But just talk about that journey, because you have disrupted what a woman in her prime, a woman who is talented on her screens, looks like.
Well, honestly, my career has been more about waiting than actually working. But I have to give it. I think the one show that changed my life is Delhi Crime. There's no debate about it. Like Netflix is a combination of great stories, Indian stories, which are still global, of talent, which is truly respected for their talent and not stardom. Yeah. So we got an opportunity. All actors, if you go to see any show on Netflix, what amazing, phenomenal actors. And you say, for so long, why were they just standing in the background doing nothing? But I think because we are all looking forward to being seen, to being appreciated, to being talked about on a global level. I mean, when you work, what are you looking for? That it should reach everywhere, whether it's appreciated or no. At least get us a chance to reach there. How could that even be possible without a platform like Netflix? It wasn't possible. And it's just incredible that I'm here at this point of time with Delhi Crime on Netflix, and it's just, it's been amazing. I don't know if this was your question actually.
No, but it ties in nicely to what I'm going to ask actually, which I was coming to. The fact that you're all three disruptors in your genre. So whether it be you, Shefali, in your spectacular repertoire work, Veer, you pioneered the comedy genre when it was not as fashionable as it is in India.
That's a very large statement. I would, there are many comedians who have come before me and banged down doors for all of us.
But I think what I was getting to the point was that you made people think rather than just laugh, which was an interesting change in the brand of comedy.
And I know what you mean when you say that there have been many before, but I also agree with Namrata that the brand of comedy that you bring does do, bring all the laughs that you need, but also is thought-provoking in its own way. So it's different.
Thank you very much. I'm just here because of this jawline, is what I tell myself.
That also I agree with.
Thank you.
That's the real core crux of this interview. But Monika, Netflix too has pioneered this, right? Changed the entertainment landscape here, starting from US, but globally, and now in India. How are you doing this, staying inventive, staying true to your art form, while making sure that your reach gets wider, your content gets more varied and brings more talent to the fore?
I think that's a very interesting question, Namrata. There's something which is very core to the Netflix DNA, and that is to constantly keep learning and trying. I think that is what Netflix as a brand, as a service is doing in every country. When we started out as a DVD, by mail service, to becoming a streaming service, when we had content from different studios, and then the sudden decision to actually start making originals 10 years ago, and to really not just create a few, but to really double down and just find the best stories, get all the creators to really, like Veer in a different sense said, bang down the doors and try and do something which is next level. And yes, we can't tell every story that exists out there and have every creator on the service, but we try and do our best and have the most diverse and, sort of rich slate that we can. So we are trying, and there's lots to be done.
Lots of stories and lots of narratives which are coming, which are not just confined to being Indian or being a global citizen or being from Bollywood or being from Hollywood. I feel like the world is now accepting artists for who they are, irrespective of where they come from. Would you talk a little bit about this journey, because you've had a diverse upbringing.
Yes.
You lived all over from Nigeria to Sanar to TPS to Illinois.
Yes.
And then you brought this brand which appeals globally.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've definitely grown up as an outsider, and I think I moved to Mumbai when I was 25 years old, and it's the first time I've ever felt at home. You know, what I always say is you don't get to choose the first country you grow up in. You don't get to choose the first language that you speak or that you're taught. You only get to choose the country that you carry with you, and for me that's India, right? Now, having said that, when I traveled abroad, every one of these countries has this palatable version of what it means to be Indian that is represented by somebody local, which is fantastic. There's a Hassan Minhaj in America. There's a Russell Peters in Canada. There's a Sanjeev Bhaskar in the UK. And they will tell you the 5 things that everybody knows about India within that universe. I'm just happy I can now show up with the 6th thing and the 7th thing that you had no idea about. You know, if Dave Chappelle on Netflix gets to take people to Ohio, fine, I'm taking you to Mumbai. Now you come to Bandra. You know, I didn't know anything about Ohio, I went with you, right? Now you're coming with me, I'm taking you to India. So to not have to ever now pander to that local 5 things and to have the expectation be, no, you now take me someplace new. I think that is a huge validation of Indian stories. And I think that happens now across genres, stand-up included, you know?
Yes, and that validation, I think, is reflective of when you get appreciated for a Delhi crime as well, because your work is not just so authentic. And Shefali, it portrays Chaya Sharma, who is the erstwhile DCP South when that case happened, the 2012 Nepaya case, but it portrays her as a woman of inner steel, but so much humanity that you brought in. And I mean, I was obviously blown away with that performance, but more than that, I think the bigger validation was my dad was himself a former DCP South, and he said that the character of Vartika Chaturvedi was spot on.
Oh my God, thank you. That is amazing.
This is huge.
And I'm getting goosebumps.
No,
thank you.
But just to tell you that is the authenticity that you bring to the character. So just tell us a little bit more about how that character creation takes place, how you bring that to light, and how you bring it to our rooms.
There are a lot of people behind this, behind filmmaking. I remember the first thing Rishi Mehta, when he met me, said, I don't just want an actor, I want a collaborator. And it made complete sense. And every single person who's involved is a collaborator. So I can't take entire credit of it. The first season, when I read the script, the blueprint he had created was rock solid. And I had the honor and opportunity to meet Chaya ma'am. Of course, I met her for like 2 hours over a coffee. But I could call her and ask her a question whenever I was in doubt, etc. And then it was about creating Vartika as her own person with rock solid values. Also, I feel, at least in season 1, and I think that kind of set the tone for season 2 and of who she is, if I did have the power that, Vartika has, what would I have done for the Nirbhaya incident? Probably exactly what she did. And which is extremely empowering. So and then from there on it grew. It wasn't alien. And I think the beauty of Delhi Crime, or the characters, every single character in Delhi Crime, is that they are so real. They are so real that, it's just, in fact, Tanuj Chopra, who's the director of season 2, he said a very interesting thing, because when we were doing it, and, Delhi Crime 1 was like completely off, like it just blew up. And he said a very interesting thing. He said, for season 1, people came for the incident and the procedure. For season 2, they're going to come for the characters,
Great.
which is a fact. Yeah. And it's like, like Madam Sir on Netflix. It's like Bhupinder. I mean, these are characters. They are real. So it's just amazing. And trust me when I say this, and I'm not trying to be, very generous about it, but it's a fact. All of these characters, then probably go into creating who Vartika is. They do. And each relationship. And that kind of helps me as an actor as well.
That's beautifully put. And Shefali, Meryl Streep once said that her work is like akin to a palette. So she's used all those colors, but she hasn't combined them in the combinations. What is left? I'm sure there's a great deal, but what are you most excited about in new combinations and, the work that takes you forward from this phenomenal character?
I hope and pray a lot of things. To begin with, I hope we all take the Emmy back. That's starting from tomorrow. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to is Delhi Crime 3. I am so looking forward. And you would expect that, but it's similar. I mean, it's the same show, it's the same character, but it's, there is difference in similarity and similarity in difference. Yes, the germ, the root of Vartika has to stay the same, but she can't be predictable. She can't get boring. And also we all react differently in different situations. So when you watch season 3, you're going to be hit with something totally unimaginable and different like the first 2 seasons.
And a very, very defining case.
Yeah.
Very, very defining case.
Okay.
So Delhi Crime season 3 is shaping up very well and very exciting.
Can we get a little spoiler here? Or no trailers, no previews. But we're just talking about keeping yourself relevant when you've got such a great body of work. And you've always done that because you've not just explored it as a stand-up comic. You have a theatrical production element to your work, and Landing beautifully showed that with the Indian soil, which to me, someone living here, is especially meaningful because who gets to define who is Indian and who gets to define who is on what side of the soil and which is the right side of the soil, or who tells you how to be with your family.
Look, like I said, the toughest thing, to bring it back to this comedy of it all, is when you have one half of your stage is soil and one half of your stage is gloss, and you've technically said every time I talk about home, I'm going to be on home soil. The toughest thing with that is just footwork. You know what I mean? So I had to, I've never had to do a stand-up show where I've had to time every foot to every word. I think there are different things that people take away from that show. To me, the central theme of that show is that love is felt. Love is never yelled. And that it's a message that if anybody's ever going through a dark time or feeling down on themselves, they should trust that love is around the corner, even if they can't hear it immediately. Have faith in that. And that's kind of what's happened to me. I've had tremendous love from people who show up softly and gently, and it's quite a beautiful symphony to listen to. So in terms of the theatricality of it, I do think a stand-up comedy special, when I talk to Netflix about it, stands as a piece of cinema. It is competing with a piece of cinema. How long have I waited for this? If you think about how democratic a platform is, the big Bollywood star ka dabba and mera dabba, same size ka dabba hai. For the first time in forever, and I don't have to compete for standee or for morning show or for marketing. It's the same size dabba, and my audience is younger and I'm funnier than you, so I have a chance, right? And I'm in control of my audience. So it's a piece of cinema. So I approach it with that theatricality.
A one-person act with one mic and one stool, and you're just transfixed and you're listening. So it is.
Yes, and the audience is younger and funnier than us, because I can tell you my kids are big fans. It's global in its appeal, and there's a sizable chunk of audience which is consuming content through platforms like Netflix. It's no longer through just your traditional media. Now, Monika, just talk about this condensation into one box, that you're giving a fair chance to all these talented artists who probably in a magnum opus of a Bollywood film would be in a smaller 5-minute role or a 10-minute role.
No, I think it's a very transformative period, honestly, because today we are sitting with Shefali and Veer. There's a documentary which we recently sort of produced and put on Netflix, The Hunt for Veerappan.
Yeah.
The kind of love we've got for the directors Selva, Apurva and Monisha, who are the producers. Who would have thought that one could actually even do documentaries sitting in India, which no one would be interested in watching. There's a feature called Double Thumbs on Netflix, which is meant to really show when you love a piece of content very much. In fact, Hunt for Veerappan has been the highest scoring Double Thumbs.
Wow.
Title on Netflix in the recent times. So I just feel that more and more people are interested in experiencing something new, in trying different formats, even languages. So just like, I don't know if you know this, there are Korean restaurants and Korean supermarkets coming up in India because people love Korean shows so much. The same way, the way Indian stories, every story that we put out, series or film, is trending in the top 10 in different countries. When we see the performance numbers or who's watching where, it's just so gratifying to see that we are at a moment in time when people are just welcoming stories and they are willing to learn, to listen, to experience somebody else's culture. For all the strife that we see in the world, I feel entertainment somewhere is really bringing people together. And I think the more we do that, the more there will be love that is experienced. So stories bind people, and I think it's our responsibility and our opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you about Netflix India and the conversations around price sensitivity in the market, but the fact that you've got this huge local audience, regional content to be explored, and you've got an Indian diaspora and a global audience to be also attracted. How do you make these choices? Because there's so much on the plate. There's films, there's franchises, there's series, there's comedians. There is so much on the plate. How do you make those choices happen?
I think where price sensitivity is concerned, for us two things are important, Namrata. One is that we have to be the most diverse service, the service of choice for people, right? So we have to take the responsibility of making ourselves so relevant and so wanted that everybody, wants to have their Netflix account, and they know that what Netflix brings to them, probably other services and streamers are bringing only a part of it to them. So we take this very seriously as being the anchor service in the market. And where the price is concerned, I really feel that it's more about value. And I think at Netflix we focus on value. I would say we are actually very correctly priced for the value that we bring, and all the services that are perhaps differently priced would be valuing what their offering is at different prices. We are doing very well in the market. We have tremendous momentum in India. We are programming stories that are loved by so many Indians, and we are taking Indian creators and stories to the world. So I think we are doing something right. We want to do more of it and continue to do more of it.
Okay, I'm going to ask two final questions. So first question, and for both of you, Veer and Shefali, there's a Harry Potter quote. It says, it's not our abilities that make us who we are, it is our choices. And I know you've referred to Harry Potter in your work previously, yes, but talk about your choices, because now you're here in New York, Veer, second time nominee for the International Emmys. Want to look back and say what choices got you here?
I have not made choices that I have to. What will keep me humble and what will keep me working and what will keep me evolving as an artist is to know that I've been chosen. I've been chosen. When somebody comes to my show, they have gotten a babysitter. They have 17 options in that city in the world. College kids have saved money. Maybe they haven't gone out for 4 weeks. They've bought tickets within 8 minutes, 6 months in advance. I'm somebody's choice. And I think just realizing that will keep me humble and working really, really hard. So I'm not making choices. I'm your choice, and I'm just happy to be your choice.
That's an amazing answer.
Yeah, lovely.
That's absolutely lovely. Well, I have to admit that I did make a lot of choices. and very few were to do work and more were to say no.
Yeah.
But like you correctly said, I did have the privilege of saying no and waiting for something that would really turn me inside out. Whatever I am today has a lot to do with the choices I made, and I can't take credit for it. It's just pure gut and instinct. I have to give it touch wood, thank God, my gut has not failed me. As far as some choices which you may feel, "Arey, ye nahi karna chahiye tha," but at that point of time, Shefali at that age thought it was right. And it's too late in life to worry about what happened 100 years ago. So I'm just grateful that my gut and instinct works and it's working in the right direction. And I would really appreciate if the ability also kind of adds to it.
We are not debating this.
There's a great saying, right? If you want to hear a good joke, tell the universe your plans, right?
Yeah.
and the universe will tell you a good joke.
Yes.
Right?
I'm going to just end it on that note because a lot of Indians worldwide are feeling a little disappointed. To say that would be an understatement, but nonetheless, you liken comedy to being overjoyed and to being devastated, much like a cricket game.
Yeah. Can I just say, just proud of Team India, and thank you for a
so much.
tournament of wonderful, spectacular cricket and brotherhood. So with you in victory and with you in loss, proud of you at all times.
And we are really proud of you and for bringing this magical Indian talent here in New York to the International Emmys. More power to you and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.